Friends, I'm back with a brand new session of chemistry for you. This time we are going to start a new chapter, that is periodic table. Now I have already completed this chapter with Bombay Scottish students as well as with Gopal Sharma students. So both of you will treat this as a revision class and you can clear whatever doubts you have, and the homework which I give during the sessions, if you have already done it in the notebook, then there is no need to do it. Okay, but Pawar students, this is exclusively for you, so you have to do all the homework whatever I mentioned in the session, okay, during the session. So now you know that there are around 118 elements which have been discovered till date. So now if you have to study these elements in a systematic and organized manner, you need some system of classification, right, to study these elements in a systematic and organized manner. So the first attempt to classify the elements was made by Dauberignier. Yes, that is Dauberigner's law of triads. You must have studied this in 9th standard. That is, chemically analogous elements were arranged in groups of 3 called as triads, such that atomic weight of the middle element was the arithmetic mean of the other 2. Then the example was that lithium, sodium and potassium. Lithium having atomic weight 7 and potassium has 39. So 39 plus 7 is 46, divided by 2 gives you 23, which is nothing but the atomic weight of sodium, the middle element. But all elements could not be arranged in this manner. So this system of classification was discarded, right? Then the next attempt to classify the elements was made by Newland. That is, we have studied the Newland's law of octaves. That is, chemically analogous elements means similar. Chemically similar elements were arranged in increasing order of the atomic weights, such that every 8th element showed properties similar to the first element. Now this particular classification was true only till the light elements like say potassium and calcium, but beyond that this similarity in properties was not observed. So again Newland's law of octaves was ruled out. Okay. Then next attempt to classify the elements in form of a tabular form, that was by Mendeleev. He was a Russian chemist, Dmitry Mendeleev. So here he was the first one to arrange elements in a tabular form in horizontal rows called as periods and vertical columns called as groups, right. So the credit to classify the elements in a tabular form goes first to Mendeleev. Now he arranged elements in increasing order of atomic weights. So you have to know what is called as the Mendeleev's periodic law. Okay, this you should know as from point of view of 10th also now. So Mendeleev's periodic law states that the physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic weights. Okay, that is the statement of Mendeleev's periodic law. Now he was the one to arrange elements in increasing order of atomic weights, then in horizontal rows called as periods and vertical columns called as groups. Now chemically similar elements were placed in the same group. Okay, according to his periodic table, the elements having similar chemical properties were in the same group. Then he also predicted the properties of certain undiscovered elements, yes, and left gaps in his periodic table for those elements, and also of course predicted their properties. So that is also his contribution. This all you have done in 9th standard, but just brief introduction is important, right? But this system of classification was again discarded. Why? Because isotopes could not be placed in his periodic table. Do you remember what are isotopes? You've done this also in 9th standard. Yes, very good. Isotopes are atoms of the same element having the same atomic number but different mass number. Okay, like chlorine exists in 2 isotopes, Cl35 and 37. Okay, so isotopes did not find any place in his periodic table. So the next attempt to classify the elements was made by Moseley. Now he was the one who arranged elements in increasing order of atomic numbers. So now what we are going to study is the Moseley's periodic table, or it is called as the modern periodic table or the long form of periodic table. Okay, so based on this you have to know what is known as the modern periodic law. That is, physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers. Okay, so only the last part changes. In Mendeleev's it was atomic weight, in modern periodic law it is atomic number. Okay, so in the modern periodic table now there are total 18 vertical columns, yes, called groups, and 7 horizontal rows known as the periods. Now what all groups and periods you are supposed to know is from point of view of the exam and the questions which are asked, we shall just have a look. So now you can have a look here, is that this is the modern periodic table. Okay, now you can see total there are 18 vertical columns. Now these vertical columns is, these are the vertical columns, these are the vertical columns, these are the groups. So total there are 18 vertical columns in the modern periodic table known as the groups. Okay, and there are 7 horizontal rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. These are the 7 horizontal rows which are known as the periods. Okay, now after certain regular intervals, the same valence shell electronic configuration is occurring. Now if you observe here, yes, now this is hydrogen atomic number 1, so 1 valence electrons. Lithium atomic number is 3, so it will be 2 1. Then beryllium is 4, so 2 2. Now it goes on increasing. Now again sodium, which is having atomic number 11, is having 1 valence electrons. So after regular intervals, if you observe, the same valence shell electronic configuration is occurring. Okay, so this is known as periodic. So word periodic means what? Something which occurs at regular intervals. So if you observe, the same valence shell electronic configuration is occurring. Now in this periodic table, whatever groups and periods I have drawn here, this is what you are supposed to know, is in the entire periodic table. Questions will be asked based on this. Okay, now first we will consider the groups. Now if you observe here, this is group 1. Now group 1, all the elements of group 1. Now hydrogen, for the time being you keep it aside, because if you remember in 9th standard you had a chapter on hydrogen. There hydrogen occupies dual position in the periodic table, means it can occupy group 1 as well as group 17. Why? Because it is having only 1 electron. So if it loses that 1 electron and forms hydrogen ion positively charged, it will behave like the group 1 elements, right? And if it gains that 1 electron and forms a duplet, that is similar to helium, it will behave like the halogens. So time being you keep hydrogen separate only. Okay, so group 1 elements are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. So these are the elements, metals of group 1. Now collectively they are called as alkali metals. Now why they are called as alkali metals, that you should know. Because all these metals, they react with water to form strong alkali solutions. Okay, so lithium, sodium, potassium, all these, they will, when you are adding them to water, they will form strong alkali solutions. So they are called as alkali metals. Okay, and what will be their properties if you are asked? Say all of them are highly electropositive. Why? Because only 1 valence electron. So it will readily lose this electron to form what? Electropositive ions. Yes, very good. That is the cations. So highly electropositive and very reactive, and they will act as good reducing agent, because the reducing agent is what? The one which readily loses electrons. So all of them, because of this 1 electron in the valence shell, they will readily lose that electron to attain the stable electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas. Okay, clear? So what kind of a question can be expected on this? That is, name all the elements of group 1. So you have to start from lithium, in the correct order. Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. Now the electronic configuration you are supposed to know only till calcium. The other elements you don't have to know the electronic configuration. So these are the elements of group 1. Now what is the collective term? Alkali metals. And why? Why? Because they react with water to form strong alkali solutions, and list any 2 properties. Okay, so any 2 properties you will mention. Okay, is it clear? So this you have to know top to bottom all. Now you see this second group here, group 2. Now group 2 consists of what? Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. Okay, now all these elements you see, they are having 2 valence electrons. So they will readily lose these 2 electrons to again form electropositive ions, that is the cations. Okay. Now the collective term for group 2 is called as alkaline earth metals. Now again reason, all these also when added to water, they will form strong alkali solutions. Now though the alkali solutions will be less stronger compared to group 1, but comparable. Okay, so they are called alkaline metals, and they are oxides. All these have certain oxides, and the oxides are found in the earth's crust. So alkaline earth metals. Okay, clear? Okay, so this group 2, if you can see, they are called as alkaline earth metals. Yes, alkaline because all of them also react with water to form strong alkali solutions, and earth because their oxides are found in the earth's crust. So again, question can be list all the elements of group 2. So you will write beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. And even if you write the symbols, you get the marks. Okay, it's not important that you have to write the full name of the metal. Then collective term is alkaline earth metals, and reason why, because they react with water to form strong alkali solutions, and their oxides are found in the earth's crust. Okay, now any two properties, if you are asked, what will you write? That they readily lose the two valence electrons to form electropositive ions called cations. Yes, and even these will be strong, they behave as strong reducing agents. Okay, electropositive and reactive. Clear? So group 1 alkali metals, group 2 are alkaline earth metals. Now in between all these elements, that is group 3 to 12, yes, they are all the transition elements. So no question will be asked on transition elements. Yes, transition elements are those which are having, most of them show variable valencies, like your copper, iron, tin, all of them are placed here in the transition elements. Okay, so directly now you have to know group 17. Yes, group 17, as you can see, it is called as the halogens. It comprises of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. Now astatine you may or may not mention, it's generally radioactive. So generally you consider the 4, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. Okay, they are called as the halogens. Now the word halogen, yes, this word halogen means what? Salt producer. Yes, it means salt producer. So all these halogens, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine, they have a tendency to react with the group 1 and group 2 metals, that is the alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, to form salts, like say sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, potassium chloride, yes, or calcium chloride. So, or the fluorides or the bromides. So basically they are all salts. Hence the common term or the collective term for group 17 elements is called as halogens. Okay, clear? So here again you should be able to list the elements of group 17, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine, collective term halogens, and why it is named, word halogen means salt producer. So all these will react with group 1 and group 2 elements, that is alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, to form corresponding salts, like say sodium chloride, potassium chloride, then calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, etc. Okay, hence the word halogen. Clear? Now if you have to write any property related to that, if you observe, they are having 7 valence electrons. Yes, see, fluorine is having electronic configuration 2,7, chlorine is 2,8,7, right? So 7 electrons in the valence shell means what? They will readily gain electrons. Yes, very good. They will readily gain electrons to form electronegative ions called the anions. Yes, so again they will be highly electronegative now and highly reactive. Yes, and they will be good oxidizing agents. Yes, they will be good oxidizing agents. So sometimes you are asked as give reason, halogens are good oxidizing agents. So you have to say that an oxidizing agent is the one which readily gains electrons, and since they are having 7 valence electrons, they naturally will gain an electron to form the anion. Okay, is it clear? So this is the third group which you are supposed to know from top to bottom till iodine, that is the halogens. Then you observe group 18, yes, all inert gases. Do you remember what were the inert gases? We discussed this in chemical bonding also. Yes, very good. They have a stable duplet, that is helium has a stable duplet or a stable octet of electrons, means 8 electrons in the valence shell or 2 electrons in the valence shell. Now because they are having stable electronic configuration, that is duplet or octet, they will neither lose, gain nor share electrons. So they are chemically inert. Yes. So in the correct order you are supposed to remember them. Helium is in the first period, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Okay. So these are the inert gases. In the correct order you are supposed to remember. So total 4 groups you are required to remember: group 1, group 2, then group 17 and group 18. Now if you observe this, if you see here I have written group 1 in brackets, I have written 1A. Here I have written 2A. Yes, this is 3A, 4A. So there are two systems of naming these groups. Yes, now this which I have written in red is the conventional, the old system of classification. Yes, which is making use of the Roman numerals. So in that, all these A group elements, which we saw, that is group 1, group 2, then 13, 14, 15, all these, they are called as the normal elements. Normal elements because in all these elements only the last shell is incomplete. Yes, if you observe all these elements, only the last shell is incomplete. Basically means till calcium. You can be asked questions based on it. So they are all the normal elements. Okay, and these here group 3 to group 12, they are called as the B group elements. Yes, they are called as the B group elements. The conventional system. Yes, that is the B group elements. So no question will be asked based on the transition elements. Now you have to remember that group 1, numeral 1 corresponds to 1A. So either you can write group 1 as 1 or Roman 1A. Okay, but just see here. Now once it is group 13, it is 3A or 13, 4A or 14. This you are supposed to remember. Yes. Now why I am telling you this? Because generally many times you are asked to assign the correct position to the elements in the periodic table only from the the atomic number. From the atomic number you should be able to assign the correct position to the particular element. This you have done in 9th standard. Now I will repeat it. Just say, for example, if you are given say the atomic number 13, first step is you are going to write the electronic configuration. So that is 283, right? Now how many shells are there? Shells, this is first shell, second shell, third shell. 3 shells are there. So the number of shells determines the period number. This is the third period. Okay, and the number of valence electrons. How many valence electrons? 3 valence electrons. So it is group 3A or 13. For 3 electrons or more, you have to do 3 plus 10 to get the group number, the new classification. This serially when it is numbered 1 to 18, it is the IUPAC system, and when it is Roman numerals, it is the old system of classification. You can use any. Okay, so the number of shells will always determine the period number, and the valence electrons will determine the group number. So based on that you can assign the correct position to that element in the periodic table. Later when we solve the questions, we will do many of these kind, but you should be able to assign the correct position. Okay, clear? So that is about the groups. Now we will see the periods. Now there are total how many? 7 periods in the modern periodic table. So you can say the 7 horizontal rows in the modern periodic table are known as periods. Okay. Now see, period 1 is the shortest. It consists of only 2 elements, hydrogen and helium. Yes, hydrogen and helium are the 2 elements in period 1. Then period 2 and 3, they are called as the short elements, short periods. Yes, they are made up of 8 elements each. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so period 2 and 3 are the short elements and short periods, and they are made up of 8 elements each. Okay, so 2 and 3 short periods. Period 1 is the shortest period. Now 4 and 5 are considered as the long periods. Yes, 4 and 5 are long periods and they have total 18 elements each. Yes, in between there will be here 10 groups are there, the transition elements. So total number of elements in period 4 and 5 is 18. So they are called as the long periods. Then 6th is considered as the longest because it has total 32 elements. Now if you remember in 9th standard we have done what is called as the inner transition elements. Do you remember what are inner transition elements? Yes, inner transition elements are the lanthanides and actinides. So there are total 14 lanthanides, yes, in 6th period. Yes, in lanthanum, which resemble the next element after barium is lanthanum. Yes, which resemble lanthanum, and in the 7th period it resembles actinium. So those 14 lanthanides and 14 actinides are there in the 6th and 7th period respectively. So the sixth is the longest period and it is having 32 elements, and seventh is the incomplete period with 26 elements. Okay, so the period number and how many elements are there in each period, that you are supposed to know. Okay, is it clear? That is important, you should know that. Now horizontally means like this. So horizontally you have to know all the elements from atomic number 1 to 20, okay, till calcium, with their atomic number and the electronic configuration. So you can be asked any question from hydrogen to calcium. Now what kind of questions you can expect? See, they can give you the jumble of the elements of period 2. Now which are the elements of period 2? Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon, right? All these are elements of period 2. Now they will give you in a jumbled manner, yes, or maybe one element is missing, they may not give you carbon, right, and ask you to arrange the elements in the correct order along with the missing elements. So you have to arrange them in the correct order, yes. So you have to know the element also and its the atomic number also. So horizontally from atomic number 1 to 20 you have to know all the elements, and vertically I have already told you group 1, group 2, then group 17 and the group 18, that is the inert gases. Okay, is it clear? All this information you already have done in 9th standard, but this information is required for 10th also. Some objective questions are many times asked based on this. Okay, now we'll have a look at a few question answers what have I already explained. Okay, now just have a look at these questions. You have to note down all these questions in the notebook. Okay, this I have already explained to you. Question 1, state Mendeleev's periodic law. So the answer is Mendeleev's periodic law. The physical and chemical properties of elements are the periodic functions of their atomic weights. Okay, then second, give 5 stars to this. State the modern periodic law. Modern periodic law. The physical and chemical properties of elements are the periodic functions of their atomic numbers. Okay. Then question 3, differentiate between period and group. Again 5 stars to this, important. Under period, the 7 horizontal rows in the modern periodic table are known as periods. The 18 vertical columns in the modern periodic table are known as groups. Okay. Then second, the number of shells present in the atom of an element determines the period number, in bracket only in case of normal elements, means all the A group elements. And number of valence electrons present in the atom of an element determines the group number, again in brackets in case of normal elements, means the A group elements. Okay, now we'll have a look at the next question. Okay, now question 4, now this was the one which I was referring to. Assign the correct position to the following elements in the periodic table. Identify the element as well. So it will be given in this manner. A, atomic number is 90. Now first step, you have to write the electronic configuration. So 2881. Now number of shells are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So period 4. Valence electrons are 1, so it will be group 1. Okay, element is potassium. Now similarly, atomic number 4, electronic configuration is 2, 2. Number of shells are 2, so period 2. And number of valence electrons also 2, so group 2 or 2A you can write here. Element is beryllium. Next is atomic number 14. So similar manner, see electronic configuration 284. So shells are 3, so period 3. Valence electrons are 4, so you will do 10 plus 4. 14 or 4A. Element silicon. 7. So first electronic configuration 2, 5. 2 shells, so second period. 5 valence electrons, so 10 plus 5, 15 or 5A. Nitrogen. Okay. Similarly, you can see here, this is atomic number 9 and 16. Okay. Now we'll have a look at the next part. Okay. So the next one, see here, atomic number 12. So on similar lines, now 10 we have done here, I have solved it for you. Now on similar lines, you have to do this homework. Okay. Homework 1 is assign the correct position to the following elements in the periodic table and identify the element as well. Okay. So X, Y, Z, atomic number 6, 8, 11, P, Q, R, S, it's 13, 15, 17, 10 and atomic number 3 T. Okay. So on similar lines you are going to solve all this as part of homework. Okay. Same way you will write it. So with this we complete today's session. Okay, that is this is all general periodic table concepts which we have explained, and what remains is the major part, that is the periodic properties, which is actually your 10th standard portion. This most of the things you have done in 9th, but they are asked in the 10th standard exam also, in the what you say, the first section of the paper, yes, the compulsory section. Now we are going to discuss the periodic properties in the next session. Okay, till then, happy studying, stay safe and healthy in the house. Thank you.